Alright, we're now going to learn how to operate the lathe and how to make a component on it. So we start off by turning on the lathe. So we take this and we turn it in an anti-clockwise direction. So that's on. We also turn on this switch here by moving it to the on direction. So from off, we turn it on. We now get ready to operate the lathe. So the first thing we need to do is put this tool into here, and we turn this in a clockwise direction to tighten it. So you can see it's come out. We now take our stock and use this key, open this up, open the teeth over here wide enough for our stock, put it in. Now we tighten it shut. We make sure to remove the key and close the flap and return the key back to where it belongs. The next thing we need to do is put the actual tool. For that, we take out this and we choose a tool. So in this case, let's cut. So to put the tool in, we need to turn these 3 nuts until there's enough space to fit the tool inside. You can see the tool is now fit in. Make sure there's no debris, pieces of wood, scrap or metal or plastic inside. Once you've confirmed that they're not, you can tighten the nuts using the bolts on top. As you can see. Now that the tool is tight, you can temporarily return this key and proceed to check the centering. Now the cutting bit of the tool, which is the cutting point, and this center have to be touching each other, almost in line, right? So we move the table. To move the table, we turn this handle for left to right and this handle for forward and backward. So we make this adjustment until our cutting bit is almost touching yeah. So as we can see, they are actually aligned. There we go. However, in the situation that they aren't aligned, the procedure is very simple. We turn this knob and you move it out, and we now take a parallel, right, to add the space in. All you need to do is lift this up and push the parallel inside this space. Put it back down and tighten this again. That's how you adjust the height to make sure the tool tips are matching. Luckily in our case, the tool tips are already in line, so we can immediately begin with our job. We move the cutting edge to where we want. Let's say I want to make a groove at this point. We take the measurements using the measurements on the circular table. We make sure that our table here is not touching the jaws of the moving section here. Lastly, we need to learn the use of these levers. Now this is the gearbox. This decides the low and high gear, as well as these over here. These are the rotational speeds, decide how fast your stock turns, right? This lever here decides whether you're going to use a screw feed, which is this one up here. As you can see, it's a screw, or a regular feed, which is this one over here. Currently it's set for regular. If you turn it this way, it goes to screw feed. Now 1 and 2 are to choose between the imperial and metric system. You can see that on this table here. So that's 1 and 2. And similarly, T, L and S can be adjusted according to this table to get different feed rates. So the feed rate is the speed at which this table moves when you put it into automatic setting, which we'll just see, right? And similarly, we can also adjust these gears. So you can disengage the gear, move the lever till you have the desired speed. Again, the desired speed is decided by this table, and then re-engage the gear. If you find trouble in re-engaging the gear, just turn the stock a bit and the gear will fall into place. The same goes for these. Let's say I'm moving from high to low and I'm getting trouble. I turn the gear So I've gone from low to high now and it's fallen into place. Now I shut it. I do all my safety checks. So as I can see, everything is up to requirement. Now to start the job, I push this in and put it in the forward direction. I push it down. You can see our job is now turning at high at 2000 RPM, which is the highest speed available on this machine. To make a cut, we need to move our cutting bit forward. I can turn this and you can now see a cut is being made in the plastic. Similarly, I can extend the length of this cut by moving the tray around the horizontal axis. Now, let's say I want this to happen automatically. What I can do is first turn it off. Now, let's say I want it to go in this direction. So I choose reverse, so that this time I move it upwards. Now, this lever here, when I push it completely down, it's to move the table left to right, and then I engage it. So as you can see, we're moving left and right automatically without my hands. Disengage. Let's say we want to move this guy forward and backward. Again, we move this all the way up, engage. As you can see, this is turning without me touching it. So this way you can get a very steady rate of feed. Let's see an example. So let's move our cutting blade here and let's put it at the exact distance we want. So we're getting a light cut. We now choose a left to right feed and engage. So you can see the machine is now automatically making the cut as per my requirement, and I can disengage. So that's to give you a gist of the main features of this machine. To turn it off, I grab this lever and put it into the center position, and that's it. Now remember, I can control things as per my liking. I can set these knobs here to limit the motion of the linear feed. Similarly, for this guy here, let's say I want to center my object, I can move him forward, push this down, move him forward, lock him in place. Turn this until I've reached my desired position, and you can lock it in place with this lever. So that's nicely locked in place. If you want to unlock it, we do that the same way. We pull this lever back, put it back to where it was, and put this back to where it was, and we can now move it back and move this freely, right? And the last is, this is a locking lever. So let's say we don't want it to move from left to right. We can safely lock our left to right in place, and then even if we engage the gearbox, this table will not move. So for some operations, this is a safety feature. And last but not least, we have this switch here. Again, this has to only be operated when the stock is not turning. In fact, all these levers over here should only be operated when the stock is not turning. If we turn this left or right, we can adjust the direction of the feed of the table. So that is the function of all the gears in this, and you can make a whole variety of parts. I suggest you go up to YouTube and look up different techniques. For example, you can make a taper, or you can even put, in fact, different tools. You could put more than one tool in the tool set here, so that you can interchange between jobs very quickly. So I hope you have fun making things on this machine. Yeah.